What are your numbers like? How many kids? What are things looking like? And it seems like every year our numbers are pretty consistent. We had our first official with everybody. We had some practices last week with our distance kids and pole vault, but we had everybody together on Monday and had 135 athletes out for track, from freshmen down to ninth grade, which is a good number for us. We've consistently been around anywhere from 115 to 150 over the years, and we had 135 kids here, and there'll be a few more that make their way during the course of the meet here. Interestingly enough, when you kind of break the numbers down, 87 of those 135 kids were underclassmen, which is encouraging to me. 35 of them were juniors, 20 of them are seniors. And, I have a lot of coaches and parents in the district ask, well, why do your senior numbers kind of go down? And obviously there's a trend that we see more numbers of younger kids. We see the junior class at 35, we see our senior class at 20. And I think there's about 3 reasons that tends to happen. And I don't think I'm pulling the wool over your eyes on anything to figure out that, there comes a point where some kids don't want to be involved, and that's part of life, but track's a lot of work. And it's the end of the year. For a lot of these kids, it's their 3rd season possibly, and it's a lot of work. And I think a lot of kids have kind of just made that decision that they don't know if they're ready to put in that amount of work. Secondly, I know a lot of the kids, especially the seniors that I talk to try to encourage to come out, try to get them involved, try to figure out, well, what's your rationale in not being out? And what I hear is, well, you know what, if I'm not going to be an ESD champion or state champion, what point is there for me to be out? Well, I think there's a lot of benefit to it. But generationally, we've kind of gotten to the point where if there isn't a distinct reason, if there isn't a distinct rationale for you to be out, then it's really not worth your time. And I don't blame that on kids. I think it's generational, and I think they've grown up kind of in a society where that has been fostered, and it's getting a lot harder to convince kids that just because you're not going to be a state champion, there's a reason to be involved in things, like maybe mentoring, like maybe helping out the kids that helped you out when you were a freshman. And that's the point we're really trying to make to some of them. And then lastly, I think it's become more socially acceptable for kids to just walk away from things. And some of the coaches in this room that coached 15, 20, 30 years ago, you know that it was a lot harder for kids to say, I'm going to hang it up. And there was a lot more pride in sticking it out and staying with it and being a part of a program. And now it's just gotten easier for kids to say, I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to quit and I'm going to walk away. So, yeah, we see that trend. And it's a trend I don't like, but that's the world we're living in right now, and we're trying to change that trend. And as I was telling Scott, this younger class that's coming in, these freshmen, these sophomores, I think they're a class that kind of gets it a little bit more. They've got a little bit more pride in what they're doing. They've got a little bit more accountability on themselves and the athletes that they're around, and I think we're going to see those numbers start to reverse here in the next couple years, and that's a good thing.